And so I recently got myself the Line 6 HX Stomp XL machine as a multi-effect and amp simulation unit for my bass. And I was wondering, as it is a fully digital device, does it introduce any delay in my signal chain? Like in the past, I used other amp simulations with laptops, and I always had, not always, but sometimes had quite an issue with delay in the processing. So I want to measure the delay of the HX Stomp XL, and I want to find out that how big is the delay it has, because it has delay as every digital device has. Like you got delay by the conversion from analog to digital and back, and from the processing. And I want to find out, does the delay change depending on how many processing blocks you use, and is the delay fixed for each processing block, or are the blocks have different delays depending on how complex they are? That might be a thing. And also, if I split the signal chain, like I have one just effect signal going to my amp on stage, and then split the signal chain to have additional amp simulation which goes out to a DI box to the desk, is the delay in that way dif- different? So to find that out, I want to measure um, the delay of the unit using the Smaart software, acoustic measurement software. So I'm going to put up the signal flow for my measurement setup and screen capture my Smaart as well as the HX edit software, so you can see what I'm doing. And yeah, let's just go and see. So I just opened Smaart and configured my two measurement ways, which is one of the main out and one of the aux out. And yeah, I opened HX Stomp here. So you see we're starting with a completely empty preset. So we can just measure like the raw delay of the unit with no processing going on at all. So in, out, by everything, bypass, nothing. So we start the measurement and the signal generator. First thing we see, as expected, there is a delay. We can find that delay. It is 1.53 milliseconds. I don't know why I'm on feet here. I have to change that to meters, but doesn't matter. 1.5 milliseconds. That's okay. So we insert that, and we see the frequency is pretty linear, I would say, like up to 16 kilohertz. Like nobody needs above that for a guitar, not to say about a bass. Phase response also pretty linear. So I'm gonna capture that and call it main out 1 empty. Okay. So what we have here is, I would say, pretty simple preset, like 3 effects and the amp. Notice I just put it together. It's not to sound anything, it's just like an example. Like, doesn't matter how you turn the knobs in terms of the delay. It's just to have like 3 stomp boxes, 1 amp simulation. So let's see how this is gonna affect our measurement. And immediately something is happening. Obviously the frequency is pretty much different, but we're not gonna look at the frequency here because obviously the purpose of the unit is to change the frequency drastically and change the sound. So we don't mind about that, but we're gonna turn off the distortion because I think that's doing a lot of the time difference. Like you see the delay got bigger, but can't quite decide. Something weird is going on. Let's see. Yeah, 1.81 milliseconds. It's a little bit more. Let's see inside that and see if the coherence gonna stabilize. Not really. Yes. Obviously, that's because of the modulation, I guess. Let's see. Way better. So the delay got a little bit bigger with the processing, and yeah, I mean it's got a low cut, so don't mind about the coherence down here, and yeah, some phase stuff down here, but overall I think that's a pretty decent result. So let's see what we're gonna capture that. May not. Simple preset. Okay. So let's see what happens if we build like a more elaborate preset. Remember, it's not about to sound good, it's just to measure if the delay is going to change. So okay. So the delay did change quite a bit. I mean, depending, it's still like 2.07 milliseconds. That's like not at all a big delay. Like everything with down underneath 3 milliseconds, it's like not noticeable. So we're gonna capture that. Okay. And now let's do something else. Gonna change. Now we have like a split signal, so we have only the effects on the main out and the amp simulation on the send out. Now let's measure how that is different in delay. So like that. First thing we notice, we remove the amp simulation, so the delay got shorter. Fine, it's 1.67 milliseconds. Yeah. So Let's see on the aux out. Yeah, there we have signal. 2.8 milliseconds. So it seems that there is no delay compensation, which means the effect out signal, the signal with only the effect from the main out, and the signal from the aux out, which has the additional amp simulation, those are not in phase. If you would put them both like in a DI box and then put them on the mixing desk, put up both faders, you get like comp filter effects, most probably, which is not cool. So if you maybe have your effect signal going to an amp on stage and then have the technician's gonna say, but I'm gonna DI that amp as well, then you might get a problem in front. So that's something to think about. So the next thing I want to measure is the delay, which is going to be introduced by using the physical effect loop. Just unplug that. So I just put a patch cable in the effect loop, and which is just a cable from the effect loop output to the input. But there's a conversion happening from digital to analog, and that's going to introduce some delay. And we're going to find out how big is that delay. So first, we're going to measure that patch with no insert, no hardware insert. This 2.8 milliseconds. Yes. So that. And now we remember that. We're gonna introduce the send and return with the effect loop. And what we are seeing already, that introduced more delay, like another about 1.5 milliseconds. So we can see it here. Let's find, and yeah, 4 milliseconds. 4 milliseconds already getting more. The thing to remember here is, like, if you introduce more effect pedals in that effect loop, and those are digital, like not analog, but for example, like you want to use your reverb and stuff like that. Digital effects always have a conversion delay. So let's say you have, I don't know, 3, 4, for whatever reasons, other digital effects in that effect loop. You're gonna have additional, like quite a build-up of delay. So also a thing we can check, if we now disable this, is the delay gonna change? So we turned off the effect loop, and yes, that reduced the delay again. So this might, if you for example record in front with the DI box in front of the HX Stomp, and then want to blend the two signals together, you might run into phasing issues if you're using this turning on and off the hardware insert. How big those issues are gonna be is like another thing to discuss about. If it's gonna be heard by anyone, maybe not, depending on the situation. And so we measured the HX Stomp XL from line 6, and we showed that the unit is gonna introduce some delay in your signal chain with what we achieved here, maximum 4 milliseconds, which is quite good, I guess. So it's probably not gonna be noticeable in your playing, not live, but it is good to be aware of that you have those delays. For example, if you're recording and if you have like a DI signal in front of the HX Stomp and like a dry DI signal, and then record the output of the HX Stomp, you might run into some phasing issues and like comp filter effects. How big those effects are gonna be, and if you can hear them, it's like that's like a whole another topic which you can argue about like quite a lot. But I think it's a good thing to just be aware of those things. It is a digital unit and it's not an analog unit, obviously. And just be aware of what you're doing with it, especially in the studio setup. At this point, I don't want to talk about anything quality, sound-wise, like that's like a whole nother topic other people have way more expertise in. I just wanted to show like the raw measurements. And yeah, if you have any thoughts about that, let me know in the comments. Like, we're on the internet, I'm sure a lot of people are gonna have a lot of thoughts about what I did and what I showed, and it is YouTube. Yeah, so just let me know if you liked what I did, what I showed, and what you think about it. Cool, thanks for watching, goodbye.